Welcome back to another Askari cast. My name is Rod Van Blake, author of the Ancient Illumination series as well as the Yambani Chronicles. And we are joined once again by Jordan Purnell Jackson.
Hey, everybody.
He is a graphic artist, illustrator, creator, and writer in his own right. He is the creator of the Evil of Insurrection, Evil of Reclamation comics, as well as the Growing in the Garden STEM series for kids. And he is the illustrator for the Ancient Illumination graphic novel, as well as the comics for Yambani Chronicles. And we're also joined by Jocelyn Short.
Hi.
She's another graphic artist, illustrator. She's the creator of Bearers. She's doing some awesome work currently. So look out for her book covers coming out for other people. There will be links in the description of this podcast when we upload it to Spotify with all of our creative endeavors if you are at all curious in our creative endeavors. Today, we are talking Superman. The film, James Gunn just released it. It is now I think they call it the DCU now, not the DCEU. It's now the DCU.
Nice.
David, huh?
Nice.
Yeah. So I saw it Friday when it came out on the 11th. The wife and I went to see it here at a local theater because I was curious and it was something new out. Usually, I'd be cheap sometimes. I wait till $7 Tuesday. Decided not to do that this time because it's here. We had the time. Usually we have conventions during the weekend, and we did not have one this weekend, so we went and checked it out. We got David Cornsweet is the new Superman and AKA Clark Kent of this series. Rachel Brosnahan is now our new Lois Lane. Apologies if I'm mispronouncing any of these names. Nicholas Hoult is Lex Luthor. He did an excellent job, in my opinion. My favorite character, though, I got to say, is Eddie Gathegi, the Mr. Terrific in this film. I didn't know. I'm not one of those guys that claims to have been into the comics since way back in the day. I've been kind of off and on with the comic books as far as mainstream, since Jordan and Jocelyn, that we are on the indie side of things. So that's pretty much where a majority of my money goes to, our indie comic creators, not so much the mainstream. I like this film. It was a different twist to it, but it still pulled from the lore of the comics, TV shows, a lot of the themes that you see. And he chose to kind of skip the origin story this time because Superman's one of the most known superheroes around. So there's no need to watch the baby spaceship crash into Kansas anymore. We've seen that. Just like, I think James Gunn has made comments that he doesn't want to see the baby spaceship and he doesn't want to see Martha's pearls from Batman strewn along the alley. They're getting killed over and over again. So
you already know.
Yeah, we already
if you don't know, this is ridiculous.
You need to go watch something. Go watch a video after the movie to figure it out if you don't know. Also, he outlined it at the very beginning what happened.
I love that, by the way. We had these rolling credits of like exposition, and it was like everything was in threes, which I really liked. I was like, nice.
And it threw us right into the action.
Yeah, we open up. Spoilers if y'all didn't see the film. Anybody watching? Spoilers. We're going to talk about this movie. We see Superman at the tail end of an ass whooping, basically, and he's doing his best Dragon Ball Z, Yamcha, death scene imitation as he's basically in a crater in the snow after getting knocked to the ground by, what was it? It was posing as the Hammer of Baravia. This made-up country that they're putting in the DCU. He got whooped. He's broken, battered, and you can see that he's broken. He whistles, and you can see blood coming up out of his mouth and nose, meaning he's probably got a punctured lung, and how painful that first whistle. And he's calling Crypto, the dog, which is this the first time we've seen him in live action? I know there's animated versions of him.
Was he in Smallville? I didn't get that far.
I have no clue.
I didn't get that far in Smallville, but I'm gonna hope he showed up in there. But this is the first time we've seen him on like a film adaptation.
Yeah. So he calls Crypto. Crypto comes and drags him. He tells him, "Take me home." Crypto starts whooping on him first, though. That was the kind of hilarious part.
He was playing too much. He thought it was a joke. Like, you gotta go home.
I have to say, I saw a video that was James Gunn. He was talking about the dog, and it's
Mhm.
his dog that
Yeah,
played
it's a version of
Crypto,
his dog.
and he was like,
Oh,
it's
that is
Crypto was very true to himself, where he's just kind of he's a terrible dog. Um,
that's funny.
But not necessarily terrible. I just think he's being an unruly dog. We find out much later why Crypto is the way he
oh, for
is.
sure,
Um, Artistically, this is much brighter than what we got in the Snyderverse.
love it.
This is more of a comic book feel. It's not the dark, gritty that we got from the DCEU. And so some, I guess, fans of the Snyderverse are not going to like this, but I
It'd be alright.
enjoyed it. There were also some weird things with the cinematography that they did. I think they were improving on certain things that he tried to do in Guardians 3 with the camera, like the fishbowl effect where
Oh, the
Superman's
force
flying through the
perspective.
air.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
and you see the camera kind of spinning around his head. It was done way better than what we saw with
Was that
Adam.
Adam Warlock or
Yeah,
whatever
with
his name
Adam
was?
Warlock was when he first. I think he was trying it out then,
It's just,
and it didn't look so good in Guard. It looks better here. It can
mhm.
still be somewhat jarring, but it's different. I like that cinematography aspect. I liked the moving around of Superman and flames and wind, and his hair actually moves as he's flying around. That was pretty cool. The action in it was well done, in my opinion. There were some things that kind of threw me off a little bit. The pixelated blocks in the river of lava in the pocket
Yeah,
dimension were kind of
that's
weird.
fair.
The anti-photon
Yeah,
Minecraft river.
yeah, that was a little weird. Um,
It's fair.
how did you guys feel about the film overall? Before we get into details,
I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was fun. I thought it was paced really well. Like for
Mhm.
a 2 hour and 9 minute movie, it was moving. And kept me interested the whole time. I like the lightheartedness. Juxtaposed with like the conflict that the movie is developing, which mirrors our real world very accurately right
Mhm.
now. And so I thought it was like it wasn't even so much that the tone brought levity, but it was almost a mirror of like the how absurd stuff is in the real world right now. Like to me, that's what this movie felt like. So I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah,
I like how you kind of bring it up about kind of like the absurdity of what's going on in the real world, and I'm like, this was right on time. Like like we needed this. Like we're talking about immigration, we're talking about corporations, two different countries fighting over land and oppressed people. So I thought that like those like James Gunn's ability to touch upon that was like perfect. I think that the action and the storytelling was good. I think David Cornsweet was a really cool Superman and Clark Kent. Like I feel like he gave us like he was very charming and
Yeah.
like warm
yeah,
versus like the coldness of like Henry Cavill,
Yeah.
which was that particular aesthetic. But this version of Clark and Superman felt very relatable, and it took me back to the TV shows. Like there was like there was like that same warmth and a little bit of comedy and levity to Superman. So he felt like a light. He felt like hope. So that was like really awesome. I am going to say when it comes to the pacing of the film, so I felt like I could keep up with the story, but I felt like at times that like we were jumping between two different a lot of different points. And like if I was somebody who didn't know about the characters, or maybe things are moving too fast, I would miss certain details.
That's fair.
So it's like there was a lot of things that James Gunn was kind of dumping on people. So I'm going to make an argument for that. And I think the movie could have been paid, could have slowed down a little bit.
mm,
Like it needed a little more points to rest, but I could see where he was doing it in a way where he was trying to like it wasn't like always action, like a constant beat of action, but there was this constant sense of urgency that reflected Lex's goals.
yeah.
Trying to stop Superman. So it's kind of like it's weird how like the movie kind of reflects like what Lex is trying to do and
King
accomplish.
Teddy.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
and
Oh
so
my goodness.
like Yeah, the pacing could have used a little work, or it could have been some simplification. But ultimately, I think that when we got the story itself was simple. Like it wasn't. It
Very
felt like,
straightforward.
yeah, it was a very straightforward story. But we just had a lot of pieces that we had to put together. But it ultimately came together perfectly. So that was like it. Like I was happy when I left the movie theater. Like I was like that was a it was everything was resolved. It was dope. Action was great. Characters were all great. Mr. Terrific was amazing. I was like, yes, we have another moment to see a dope black superhero, and that actor he got his redemption with this character, and like he was dope. And I'm like, it's like I might have to cosplay as Mr. Terrific now.
For
It's gonna be
sure.
perfect.
I definitely agree with you where on saying that James Gunn threw a lot at us, because I definitely had that same thought where I was
Mhm.
like, if you truly don't know what's going on, you might have a harder time with this movie. So I definitely agree with you there. I also really liked Superman itself. I felt like um, he gave a really good performance in demonstrating like a fine line between like being very earnest and being naive, and
Mhm.
I really liked that. I liked his portrayal of that, and I loved Lois Lane in this movie, and I
Mhm.
loved them next to each other. Like, I
Oh
felt
yeah,
like,
they were great.
yeah, I felt like they were really good foils.
Yeah.
Um, I I was disappointed in Hot Girl, but I feel like you can't really expect too much. The movie's not about her.
Mhm.
I think they're introducing them for future installments, like
Yeah.
the Green Lantern and Hot Girl.
I like
Mr.
I
Tur
like Guy Gardner. He was
Yeah,
he was funny.
he was good.
He was goofy. He was goofy. He was
He
funny.
was he was good.
Yeah,
I Mr. Terrific stole the show, truly.
yeah.
He killed it. He killed every scene he was in. He did an excellent, amazing job. I loved his parents. Oh my gosh, the sweetest people ever. The-
Yeah, they were a little too country for me. But
Oh my god, he said the same thing.
other than that, I
He
like
said
them.
the same thing.
Um,
I feel like that's real deep country and people do
But
be like that.
that was what my argument was. I'm like, we look at like all the other renditions of like Ma Pa Kent and like Kevin Costner. It was Kevin Costner was Zack Snyder's Pa Kent,
yeah,
right? I'm like, Kevin Costner's like he's still not like he's playing someone in Kansas, a Kansas farmer. He doesn't feel like he could be a real one. So it's like
yeah.
I feel like there needed to be there needed to be more like a diversity of like what they can look like, what somebody should look like and sound like.
Now that
Do
I
some
like.
canvas and be more
Yeah,
realistic. Like
I like that they did
sometimes.
the different look. I didn't mind of having
Mhm.
them being looking different than what they're normally presented as. But the podunk country and
Yeah,
Steve Lombard, the other reporter, asking Clark if they're going to be grilling chitlins, and then ask him what is
that was
chitlins.
disrespectful.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Oh
was
my
like,
goodness.
what is going on?
That was disrespectful, and I appreciated that because there is a lot of there's a lot of disrespect to Southern people and their accent. So I felt like the fact that the media was disrespectful in that way was like realistic
Yeah. I
I
because
also
that
wonder if
really
that
happens.
was. I wonder if that was in the script or if he just spitballed that on the moment
Oh
they kept it in because he's on Saturday Night Live.
yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
Beckett or Beck Bennett, excuse me, is the actor that plays
Mhm.
the Steve character. I like David Cornsweet as Superman because I felt like he made it his own, and I'm going to take it even further back than Smallville. To me, it seemed like he was at times paying homage to Christopher Reeve's
Oh,
rendition of Superman,
he
uh,
was. Mm.
especially when he played. And the thing is, we didn't get that much of Clark. We get him ambling through the streets on his way back to the Daily Planet, and we get him kind of bumbling and
it's
fumbling
true.
in the office. But there were two separate performances there that we didn't get quite enough of Clark because as soon as we see him alone with Lois, when he sneaks into her apartment, he drops a facade. And I do like in this film that they did not play with our intelligence with regard, the argument of the actor with one thing different and why can't nobody recognize him. I feel the same way about He-Man when
Oh goodness.
because he's Prince Adam and He-Man are in effect the same. Even if you bought the action figures when I was a kid, it was the same damn action figure just with a different outfit. He still had the Lord Farquaad haircut with the bow
Same
cut.
dude. Same
Same
dude. Just
dude,
got buff. It got
but they
buff and
give us
bigger.
an explanation here in this Superman, and I'm thinking. that Mr. Terrific may have had something to do with Clark's glasses. Because, like I said before, off camera, I was telling my co-hosts here that I did a deep dive on some of the characters, and Mr. Terrific, who is the third most intelligent human on the planet, and he may actually be even the smartest, depending on who you ask. His T mask, which basically thwarts all facial recognition, any kind of electronic or
Didn't
any type
know.
of tracking. Like the facial recognition won't recognize him. And we're told by Guy Gardner when Lois, after Soups is captured, well, actually turns himself in, and Lex takes him to this super secret base. Um, she goes to the Justice Gang, which is hilarious, with Green Lantern, Hawk Girl, and Mr. Terrific to try and get them to come and save Superman, and nobody will do it. Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion, again, I liked his rendition here of that Green Lantern. Um, they're talking back and forth with him and Lois Lane, and he's like, "So you know who Superman is?" And then he's just like, "If she didn't know, he tells her." And then he starts talking about these hypno glasses that basically make it
Mhm.
seem like the person wearing the glasses looks different depending on who's looking at him with the glasses on. So, but we do get a scene at the end of the film where Perry, the chief who doesn't like to be called chief at the Daily Planet, I don't know if y'all caught him looking at Clark as he walks past when him and Lois say, "Hey, let's talk over here." At the
Yeah.
end, he takes a
Yeah.
long look at Superman, like it's given like he's recognizing who this like that dude looks familiar. He's been walking by me every day, I think. But now I'm putting two and two together. But they give us an explanation for why people don't recognize that Clark Kent is actually Superman. So I like that.
It was funny because I was initially thinking about that, like before they kind of walked off to do their interview.
Yeah.
And I like that his line where he asked Jimmy like how long those two been together,
Yeah.
and Jimmy spills the beans. So I felt like that was the reason why he was looking at him because like
Yeah.
he knew that Lois and Superman were together.
Yeah.
So that was what that long pause was for. But I still think the jig isn't up just yet. No one knows besides who need, so no one else knows that we kind of established in the series that has that knowledge. But
And the fact that Clark is the only one that gets to interview him ever. He always has
someone's
the
gonna put it together, right? Someone needs to be smart enough to be like, all right,
yeah. I
why
like
does
that
Steve
Lois
have it?
calls him out on that.
Yeah, I really
Yeah,
liked
Awesome.
I love that conversation that they had,
that
like
was a
that
great
interview.
opening scene with
It
them.
was
I was
great.
like, oof.
And I felt so disappointed that it ended, that
he marked, he marked, he
Oh,
pushed
you
his
want them to
button.
keep going at it?
yeah, like I was so sad that like he walked out. I was like, "Come on. Come back,
You weren't
come
even in
back,
the fight for too long.
come back." And then she was like, "Oh, I knew this wouldn't work." I'm like, "You guys, please."
Well, to me that was a sign that Clark didn't have the media training that he thought he did, because basically what Lois was doing was putting the heat on him. Like they're going to
Put
ask
the
you
heat
these
on
real
him.
questions. They're not going to give you these powder puff questions where you can just skirt around the real issues here. They're going to ask you some real hard hitting questions. And when she started doing
For
that,
sure.
he started getting pressed. He was getting frustrated, and you could tell he put a little more bass in his voice. Oh, I like when he slipped up and put the bass in his voice around Jimmy when Jimmy said that the Hammer of Arabia just whooped Superman's ass, and
Oh
he's
yeah,
got the
yeah,
little
yeah.
nerdy voice. But when he turns around, he
He's
goes,
like, nope,
"Actually, Superman
no,
didn't get his ass
I
whooped.
don't think he got it. He ain't get whipped that bad.
He
I ain't
didn't.
think so.
He didn't get his ass
he,
whooped."
that didn't happen. That didn't happen.
Yeah, he slipped up
It
right
wasn't
there. I
all
was like,
that
"Hey,
bad.
wait a minute! You put a little too much bass in your voice. You're supposed to be the non-charming version of yourself right now, and the unconfident Clark Kent. You just basically checked Jimmy in the office in front of everybody. What did y'all think about Jimmy Olsen being a ladies' man?
That was hilarious. That was great. That just made no sense, but it was like I'm with it. I'm fine. I'm like, it's a movie.
Yeah.
Would this guy have the Riz in real life? I don't know.
I don't know, but it seems he got everybody in his phone, including Mutant Toes. Got old girl on the Mutant Toes in
That
his
was
phone.
That's
wild. He had her. Yeah, that
crazy.
was
That's
crazy. That he had
crazy.
her
To
even
have her in the
right as
phone
mutant
as Mutant
turtle.
Toes.
Her
Oh
feet
my god. It's disrespectful as hell.
crazy.
I
Mutant
wish I
turtles.
would catch sight of somebody. They got me in their phone as Mutant Toes. I'm about to put these toes right in your face. All right. You about to get mushed with feet. All right. Get out of here, big
You don't
dog.
want to get these toes in your
You
mouth.
about to get these big dogs. Stop
Yeah.
playing.
So yeah, they got this whole. What did y'all think of this version of the Fortress of Solitude and the super
Oh,
robots?
I loved it.
I
It
love
was
that it
so good.
rotated with the
Yeah,
sun. I thought that was a really cool element, and it kind of like
Yeah, that was
went
dope.
back into the ground and made sense.
that was
Yeah,
great.
and the heal they had the magnifying glasses to actually intensify the ultraviolet rays from the sun to expedite the
Yes.
healing, and the fact that we see that the sped up healing was why he was even in more pain as bones kind of
Mhm.
realign and skin comes back together, organs heal, but in an expedited fashion that it makes sense it would be painful if you're getting like the speed
Yeah.
version of it happening all at once and they have to kind of hold him down. The Superman robots seemed kind of weak though, but they were strong enough to hold Superman down when he was in pain. Uh, but when the engineer when she came
She
in,
was.
she was
She.
pimp smacking them.
She was. She was throwing discs. She was
Yeah,
throwing weapons. They couldn't stand that. That
yeah.
was a wrap.
And the aura forming of Lex Luthor walking in as stuff just explodes and narrowly misses that bald head of his. He just walks straight
Why is
through
no
it like
one
nothing's
touching
happened.
his ball?
Like he knows everybody has his back as they invade. We find out later how he's able to just walk into his fortress. They just needed him injured to lead them to where the spot was, and they find it and then distract him long enough for them to go through his stuff. So there's lots of recurring elements that we've seen in TV shows, movies, and comics that they kind of pulled from. One of the animated shows, I think, is where they got the Superman robots from with the numbers on their chest. That's been depicted in the animated films. Uh, the one thing I did not like, though, is this different rendition of Jor-El and Laura L, his parents, where we get this message that at first he listens to this message, Superman does, to soothe him because it's in another language and it's translated. So he's basically watching anime. He's got the subtitles going. It's been translated as he watches them speak the native language from Krypton, and they translate it. But some of the message is garbled because he got, I guess, damaged in his trip to Earth. The engineer hacks the computer in the Fortress of Solitude, and then somehow they're able to translate the full message. And of course, Lex Luthor packages that up and then disseminates it to make Kal-El look bad. And this doesn't necessarily make him look bad, but it makes the family look bad because they're like, hey, we love you more than land. Go and take over Earth. Then people are slow and stupid. They'll bow to you, get you a harem, and spread your seeds so our genetics can basically take over the whole planet. And I'm hoping that later down the line, I know it's likely not, I'm hoping later down the line, we're going to find that Lex and them manipulated that message because that change wasn't good to me, but it also was good because it gives Superman more agency in how he determines what he's going to be moving forward.
I
I'm
think
gonna
it's
let Jocelyn go.
I think it's interesting that the movie did make a point to let you know that like that message wasn't doctored, like it was reconstructed correctly.
Yeah.
But I am interested in maybe a future installment where like maybe that message was maybe one of two or something. Like maybe they were under duress and made that message or something like that.
There's the rumor about that they
Mhm.
were, yeah, that Zod might have held them and made them
Say
bring the
that.
second part. Um,
Interesting.
I'm hoping it's something else because, like I said, I didn't really like that change because that sullies House of L a bit in my opinion. If none of those things are true, and I think it would make more sense that Lex Luthor would manipulate the message. And how many Krypton linguists we got on Earth? If we're being real,
That too. They were
That's
like,
I mean, it depends on. I mean, I'm gonna make a Smallville connection, but it depends on like which universe you're in. So like, Ron, I understand your concern about it and how like I think that's a good assessment that it kind of like it kind of makes the House of L will make them look like villains and less like heroes.
yeah,
But this was something that like they explored in Smallville. where like it's almost the same kind of direct translation. Like Tom Welling's Clark gets a download from his dad's ship. Oh, and they introduced Christopher Reeve in that series, and he was the guy in that world that actually knew Kryptonian language and was waiting for Tom Welling's character Clark to show up.
Yeah.
And but he ends up decoding the information, and he gets basically a similar message from his parents. They're like, "Hey, basically, you're here to take over the planet." And I was like, wait, because it's funny that show came out in like early 2000s, and
Yeah.
then we've gotten things like Invincible with the Viltrumites.
Yeah.
And then it's funny that we come back to it in this rendition of Superman, with this idea of like the last chosen one, the last son of a dying planet, dying civilization has to restart civilization, like restart their people. So I mean, it falls in line with that. It's bad. I mean,
It's been done before.
Zod. It reminds me of Zod and like his goal of like I want to conquering. But
I
like
think
you
if y'all
said,
haven't watched My Adventures with Superman,
I still haven't. I think I saw one or two episodes. The one is kind of an anime.
It's done there where he gets a rendition of Jor-El. Basically, he's speaking in Kryptonian, and he's basically saying the same thing. Like, you're the last son of Krypton. You need to come here and take over.
Which is why I want to know if this was in like I want to know if this storyline was in like OG comics, like before the 90s. So I want to know who was like, all right, we want to put this into the motivation of like Jor-El, and his mother, and like them having to like do this sort of like very colonial way of like we need to restart society by taking over people. Like I want to know whose idea was that the original intention of the character. I want to know their parents. I want to know.
I'm not sure. Like I said, I haven't dived that deep into the Silver and Golden Age comics to see if that thread was there. I do know it was done similarly in My Adventures with Superman, and that was after we've gotten season 1 and 2 of Invincible, I believe.
Yep.
So it's not a new theme. It's been done ad nauseum. It's expected when you've got like almost like a supreme being coming to Earth and being here alone, basically unchallenged. Aliens would think to do that. And at least most human beings, you know how we are, survival of the fittest and all that. I'm worried. The only thing that really worries me is if they're kind of going about it in a similar way as they did previously with the DCEU, which is they are tying so many things into this film that I'm not sure if they're going to be able to get around this kind of ready-made universe that they try to do with Batman v Superman and Justice League. And they started before we got like Marvel had all that time to introduce all the characters, and now this is serving to sort of do the same thing. You got Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, you got Mr. Terrific, and there can be so many spinoffs with that.
But you know
Hawk
what?
Girl, and those three are going to be, I believe, in the second season of Peacemaker. And Peacemaker makes a brief he makes a brief appearance. And they interview him about Superman after the bad news gets out, and he's like, that guy thinks he's better than everybody else. And we see Frank Grillo as Rick Flag Sr. in this. He's talking
without the gray hair, by the way. And some people were mad about that.
I also went back. I don't know if y'all have seen it. Also, last night I watched the whole season of Creature Commandos.
Nice.
To kind of tie the threads together after seeing Superman. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with all of this. I'm hoping they have enough of a foundation with the fans that it gains the momentum that they want.
Honestly,
and doesn't fall flat.
I feel like it should. I feel like it should go well. Like I think the fans so badly, me included, want a lighthearted version of all of this. Like I think we're ready for like the new iterations of these characters. Like we've wanted that from the beginning. Like we didn't necessarily. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like, or at least people. I feel like the dark gritty versions of these of like the core DC characters, I feel like is maybe overdone at this point, or just people are tired of it. or
Yeah.
that maybe it hasn't been done as successfully as maybe it could be. Or just right now it could just be the times. People are just ready for levity. And
Mhm.
so I think it's welcome. Whatever they're gonna do with
Yeah.
these characters and these stories and having them be more fun, I think it'll be welcome. I think people are ready for it right now.
Yeah, I just think
Agreed.
it's a difficult task with the dearth of content that they have in different. The same thing with any huge IP; they just have so much to go on. And
Mhm.
as I
It's
was
true.
doing these video deep dives into Mr. Terrific, I find a group called the Terrifics, which features him, Metamorpho, which we see in this. He's the one that turns his hand into kryptonite to
Kryptonite.
keep Superman down. There's basically and a version kind of Invisible. It's basically DC's version of the Fantastic Four with Metamorpho, Mr. Terrific, and he has his own grouping. So there's so many
What?
different ways. Yeah,
What?
there's so
What?
many different ways they can kind of have different jump off points with different groups of characters. It's just it kind of has to stick the landing in order for them to fund it keeping going. I think that's been the problem previously is that you have one movie that was good, and then you'd have a couple of them crash and burn, and the executives at the end like, we might not want to. I mean, we're not going to put another 200 million into these two projects, so we might as well just scrap this and start over. And for some reason, I think they do that too early, just because they're
Yeah.
so risk averse.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
I feel that way. Like it's interesting. Like we're talking about like the tonal shifts within like the DCEU and the DCU now. And I think that like we added. I don't know. I felt like when we had the DCEU, the darker, grittier tone kind of worked as an alternative to what Marvel was offering.
Yeah.
But then we noticed that like executives and people that were in higher position were either causing the process to be more like they were disrupting the overall vision of a film.
Yeah,
And that created, I think that also contributed to the imbalance of things and why films weren't working because you'd have people who are comic book writers, who are money people, who are
yeah,
just like, y'all need to capture this demographic. But I think that with James Gunn having a specific, they're kind of centralizing things with James Gunn and like his overall vision of things and them tapping in specific directors for each project, there will be a moment for everything to feel like they have a connecting thread. So
yeah.
like when we look at like Suicide Squad, like there's the same energy, the production quality of Suicide Squad is in there, but it's just not as like violent.
Yeah.
But you can still feel like the essence of like this kind of levity and fun, even to when it gets dark and gritty.
The Gunnisms.
Did you
Yeah.
say the guts?
The Gunnisms. We got you look at Guardians of the Galaxy, you see the color palettes, the tone, the hoppy soundtrack when there's a fight scene.
Every time.
We basically get the hallway scene kind of, but it's not in the hallway, it's out in the desert with Mr. Terrific and the T-Spheres. He's just whooping ass all over the place as Lois Lane kind of cowers in the force field bubble as everything is just going off. The music starts as soon as he starts fighting. The cameos went kind of crazy where they were having a lot of deep cuts, and I don't know if y'all did any research on it, but the background people in Lex Luthor's camp in his like
Something's
headquarters.
something's I didn't necessarily recognize any of them, but
Yeah.
something seemed poignant about those people in Lex Luthor's camp. So what did you find?
Well, Otis there's always Lex always has an Otis, and I don't know if you remember the OG Superman with Christopher Reeve when he was the plan at one point was to basically cause a earthquake so the tectonic plates would shift, and he had made one town Otisburg, which I guess he's going to give to his boy Otis in the film.
That's so dumb. Oldest
Yeah,
bird.
the
Oldest bird.
the two identical twins that were supposed, I think they're versions of Tiger Man from the comics. That one gets turned into like an anthropomorphic tiger, but he's like a mindless beast. His brother goes through the same transformation, but he takes something extra so that he's able to keep his mental capabilities. And also at one point he's able to kind of shift in between human form and tiger form. The guy with the glasses, he's another character from the comics. I forget what his name is, but the
The
guy
guy with the mask, the mustache.
mustache, yeah, and the
Yeah,
glass.
he was helping control the fight as they were, overlooking things. I remember.
Yeah, basically all of those characters in the background were actually pulled from either the films or comics, different versions that were all surrounding Lex. And Lex had a roundabout way. We haven't even brought up aka Ultraman.
Oh
Basically,
yeah.
the reason that this dude was able to whoop on Superman, we find out later that it's a clone of Superman called Ultraman. He was also posing as the Hammer of Baravia in the crazy looking juggernaut armor suit in the midair with the golden dome. We didn't talk about the kaiju, the baby kaiju that grows.
Yeah.
That distraction.
Yo,
Yeah, the
it's so
distraction.
crazy. Like, in looking back, it's extra crazy that like the monsters, or at least that particular monster, was orchestrated as a distraction by Lex Luthor. Like a lot of Superman's obstacles in this movie were just only because Lex Luthor orchestrated it happening.
Yeah.
I
Like
don't like him. I don't like him. I don't like him. I'm gonna bother him all the time. I don't like him.
crazy,
Just a hater.
He's
crazy.
a supreme. Who's to my left?
Yeah, supreme hater.
Yeah,
The
He's the
greatest
Holy
hater in the
Supreme.
world. And I didn't want him to be redeemable at all. I'm tired of this need to constantly create villains and to be redeemed. Like,
I agree. Just
no,
let folks be bad.
let Lex Luthor be a bitch. Like, it's okay. Like, bro, like
Let
you're a
him be
hater.
consumed
Like,
by hate. Like
right. Be a hey. He should have been at the International Player Haters Ball in Dave Chappelle. That's where now Lex would have thrived there. He's like, I
for
hate
sure,
Superman.
for sure, for sure.
I
Because
hate Superman.
truly,
Yeah,
truly,
we also have Sean Gunn as Maxwell Lord, which is another like billionaire tech giant, similar to like on like another Lex, basically. I don't think he's as smart as Lex, but he's got this. He's got a lot of money. He's got tech. That actually the Justice Gang are employed technically by his company, and we see a lot of the technology being used throughout the building is from Maxwell Lord's company. Alan Tudyk, I think, was the voice for one of the Superman robots, which he's been getting a lot of voice work
that's great.
done. We already mentioned Perry White is Wendell Pierce. Uh, Otis was Terrence Rosemore. Um,
I forget the
Anthony
actor's
Carrigan is the
name.
one who plays Metamorpho. What y'all think of that little baby? He was a distraction to me. I was like,
I mean, it was
I
just
I
they
think it.
introduced. Go ahead.
I feel like the point of it, of the baby, was.
Go, Justin. Point of the baby.
I feel like the point of the baby, in that whole scene was to like highlight how far Superman or Clark Kent is willing to go, like what he's willing to do to make sure the baby's okay. Like the baby was like a focal point, and like Superman is gonna survive a black hole in like cosmic matter, but
that
he
was
gonna get this baby out.
Oh yeah.
that was one of the scenes I had an issue with.
You know, I get it. I know, I understand. Like
Because of how powerful this black hole was supposed to be, and
yeah,
it was
no, I
gonna, and my
agree.
boy just blows his way out of it. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
agree. No, I agree for sure. Honestly, the fact that the
Have
black hole was
fun,
even
y'all.
there and it was as big as it is, all of that stuff that was inside of that pocket dimension, I feel like should have already been gone.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I feel like we're being a little too realistic about this. This is not an interstellar black
Oh,
hole. This was a
yeah,
James
for
Gunn
sure.
level foolishness black hole where Superman can just wind blow his way out of it.
I
Facts.
get it's not realistic, but at the same time, if that's all he had to do, then it wasn't as dire of a situation as they're making it out to be.
Well, he had help.
Honestly, the baby looked like a
Metamorpho.
toy.
It did.
It looked like a
Also,
toy.
I want to say the baby was was just a plot device.
Oh, for
It
sure.
was just a way to. It was a way for us to humanize Metamorpho a little bit more, and that's what I recognized. Was like, well, the baby's just here. It's like the smoking gun. We got to keep the baby is just here for this thing, and it created a really fun scene,
Also,
and that
Metamorpho
was
was
it.
crazy. Like his powers are insane.
Him exploding acid on the
That was
raptor guys was
crazy.
the best part to me, and just being a floating head. I was
That
like,
was so like I don't know if you've ever, or if I've ever told you, or if you've ever seen how a sea cucumber defends itself. Um,
no,
No,
no.
this ain't a conversation we've had.
This is
Okay,
real specific.
it is. So, a sea, essentially a sea cucumber, uh, it doesn't really have much but itself. And so all it will do if it is being threatened and attacked, it will turn itself inside out and it will eject its internal organs at its prey and its organs will strangle it. And then it has to go away somewhere, hide and recover so it can regrow its organs. And
Whoa,
that is
whoa, that's
what
a crazy defense mechanism.
yes, and that is what that scene with Metamorpho reminded me of. It made me think of when he
Wow.
exploded
Okay.
his body with acid at those dudes, and then he was just ahead, and he had
Or
to go
float
away
head.
and just
Yeah,
go away.
man, and that's one to grow on. Lesson
Mhm.
for the day with the science lesson there with the
Thank you, Jocelyn.
Were either of y'all surprised at the Bradley Cooper sighting as Jarrell when that popped up? I
Yeah,
was surprised.
I kind of had it. I kind of knew he was going to be in the movie. I'm trying to remember what spoiled it, but I kind of knew he was going to be there. But it was cool to see him.
We need
it was
we need
jarring
to
to
get
me.
cool. We need to get
Why?
cool with James Gunn. I mean, because he just drags you into everything. I like his
Get
brothers in
Bradley.
it.
Get
Facts.
Bradley's
Bradley in
like,
here.
I
You
don't
gonna
care
put
what
us
Maybe
you
in there?
say.
Leon's back in here.
Yeah, you gonna
His
get
wife
the
is
film.
is Peacemaker. He got everybody in there.
You gonna
We
Nepotism
need
get
to go
running.
him.
find out. We need to go find the studios and just stand outside sometime.
Yeah, yeah. It's like, hey, what's happening, man?
You're like, I know James Gunn.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um.
Isabella Merced. Monique says, I wish Superman movie was G-rated, more family friendly. An incident, I think she means an innocent
Innocent.
person died by Russian roulette. We did not need that scene. I think that was to show,
Yeah,
I
so
kind of
great.
agree. I think that was to show how bad or how far gone Lex was. And at
Exactly.
the same time, they kind of hint at it with the baby, because I think that baby was more a point to show how far he was going to go in that soups and how, in order to control Metamorpho, he had to hold the baby hostage. And just in case you think I'm joking, I'm going to kill the dude that gave you falafel in front of you and the baby just to know that I ain't playing.
But I do agree that scene was dark, but I also appreciate how affected Superman was and
Yeah.
how
Mhm.
affected more was it Metamorpho?
Yeah.
How
Mhm.
affected they both were by
Yeah.
that. Like that I also feel like that moment kind of brought Superman to reality a little bit of like what he's really dealing with because I feel
Mhm.
like before then uh, or let me say this. I feel like the whole movie, Superman retains a strong sense of earnestness in his convictions. But I feel like before that moment, there was more naivety, in how he was dealing with people, how he was handling conflicts. And then that moment happened. And he was still going to do what he needed to do. But he was also, I feel like a shift kind of happened a little bit where he was
Yeah.
like, all right, I'm not playing with these people. Like,
Yeah.
I
My
need
boy
to.
was saving everybody. He was saving squirrels and dogs.
Oh,
You
He
was.
he
he
valued
blew
life.
it all
But
the
at the
way.
same time, off camera, I asked this question: Are the Raptors humans? Because some of them look like robotic drones. For those y'all don't know, the Planet Watch thing that Lex Luthor set up, these security guards.
You know
Some of
what?
them look to be robot drones. Some of them look to be humans in like this Iron Man like flying armor. And we get a scene where Superman turns on his laser eyes and does a didgeridoo spin and puts them all in the blender. And I'm like, if any of those raptors are humans, uh, they dead.
I would argue that they're not. I of course we don't know. I would argue that they're not, just because like the engineer character, like she was like I gave up my humanity to join his cause, and I feel like these other that she had that line in the movie. She
Yeah,
did
yeah,
say
she
that.
did, but she's still a human though. She can die.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
she has
That's
true.
true, but
I think they were human though.
what I'm getting at is I think um she was willing to give up so much of herself
yeah,
to this technology that would shapeshift her into anything that he needed her to be. And I feel like these other people, um, his cronies or whatever, would probably be willing to do the same. So I don't think that they're the same as the engineer, in functionality per se, but I feel like the mindset might be
yeah,
there to where they would allow themselves to be changed by Lex Luthor for
yeah.
whatever his purposes would be.
I'm just saying this. They've been walking when you're going around the secret base where he had the one of the doors to the pocket dimension. you see a bunch of the Raptors, and some of them have helmets on, and the face is open, and it's very clearly a human face. It's not like a robot. It's not like the shell of an Iron Man helm, and you just seeing this mental facade. They open up the face shield, and you can see, and they're talking to people. It's kind of funny. It was weird how they had the workers in like these Bermuda shirts, the button-up shirts out in the desert. I didn't know if they was working or on vacation,
Right.
with all the scientific equipment going on, and they're just watching stuff happen. We didn't really talk about Luther Corp. That building was dope. Where the headquarters became a ship when stuff was going on. He's like, and oh boy didn't know it. The dude with the mustache and glasses, he was panicking when he saw the rift about to split open the planet. And then when he hit the button and had, the ship to fly away, he was like, of course you thought of this. You had an escape plan. I should have known. Lex was super petty. One of my favorite scenes though is when Superman crashes into the office asking about the dog. Where's the dog? And my boy's like, "What were you talking about? The dog?
Drinks coffee, drinks."
I also love his restraint of power in that scene because he threw the desk, but it was just enough just to crack the glass. He could have threw the desk through the glass and broke it all away, but he just threw it enough to be pissed off and just crack it to be threatening. And Lex Luthor just could be like, I got him mad.
The machinations of Lex Luthor to parlay the selling of weapons to incite war in this foreign entity in exchange supposedly for half the country to make yourself king and make it a tech utopia. But in reality, you're doing all this stuff just to get a chance to basically get the government to sanction the killing of Superman. And the fact that Ultraman in this version is a clone from hair. He had to search all the battles where Superman had gone and found some hair and used that DNA to make basically a speechless but more powerful version of Superman. And we didn't even talk about this at all. Basically the video game commands he was given as like fight sequences.
How'd y'all feel about that?
He had studied Superman so much that he had created this like little gamified language, and they were basically treating Ultraman like someone with a video game controller, putting in inputs.
I did think that was interesting because the commands were almost like chess moves, like that he would call out at Superman. Like I've studied all his moves. I could counter him. I could do it. A15, C11, all of that.
I'm gonna wrap him up real quick.
I'll wrap him up real good. Which it is crazy. It's interesting because it's like Lex Luthor is so drunk in his quest for power and to be better and to best Superman that he has gamified his obsession and at the cost of truly the whole planet.
Everything else, he's ready to.
His employees and the planet. He didn't care.
Like there's a black hole.
He's like, hey, they chose him. We all if you're gonna choose him, we all deserve to die. He's gonna go down with the ship. If we got to destroy the whole thing, if you're gonna take his side, I guess is what we're gonna do. I'm like, man, he don't care.
That's crazy. That is some S tier hateration. In the dancery, I must say. It's some stuff I ain't never seen like on that level before.
They didn't do what I thought they were gonna do though.
Which was what?
I thought they were going to make Superman realize what was being done to him. He kind of does it, but through proxy. Basically, you need to, if he's got your moves down so pat because he can predict what you do, then you have to kind of become unpredictable. Well, that's where Crypto came in because he was like, I know what we need in this instance.
Crypto is an agent of chaos.
We just need a little bit of chaos in here. And that was hilarious. He's like, get the toy. And he kind of perked up a little lopsided ear, like, oh, it's playtime? He's like, yeah, playtime, get the toy. And he just starts to destroy the drones, which they're able to use to be able to keep an eye on the fight. And without his eyes to be able to tell Ultraman what to do, he kind of loses the one edge he has over Superman in that instance. And that's how he's able to overcome. Interesting, but I was wondering if they were going to make him. Well, I guess they did in a way. It just wasn't as direct. But yeah. So y'all don't think those raptors were killed?
I think they were killed. They were human. I was doing some digging. They're most definitely human. And I don't know, they were giving guys, I don't know how they introduced them in the movie as well. It felt like they were soldiers that were just given
Yeah,
super suits. Just
yeah,
that.
lower tier
So,
henchmen.
so they were just henchmen. So, I mean, if Superman killed them, okay. I mean, we watched Superman kill before. What's
Oh, yeah,
new?
I'm not mad about it. I'm
Oh,
just
I know.
saying that
For everybody
everybody
else.
that pitched the bitch over him snapping Zod's neck in Man of Steel, I haven't seen as much outcry for him just doing the laser eye blender
Yeah, he lasered them.
on about
I
20 of
I
them.
mean, I'm always appreciative when superhero films or any show or anything that has superpowers when they effectively show the
Use
use
of them.
of the powers. And
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they did that in this movie. I feel like
Mm-hmm.
I really want to see Superman go crazy a little bit, like with his power levels, with his skills, like what he's I was like, I feel like they gave us some grace when the Raptors fell to the ground because I'm like, them folks was severed. Like,
Yeah, I was like, is somebody like cut in half? I'm like,
Yeah.
dang. I'm like,
I
you gotta be like, and you
yeah,
fell a bunch of feet. You broke up. You're not getting up from that.
exactly. So
And you reminded me of that scene. So I didn't want us to gloss over the very animeness of it. But when Clark is fighting Ultraman and the engineer in the baseball field,
Oh yeah.
was probably my favorite part because when we get the whole just the setup of the fight, Superman kind of picks up Ultraman, slams on the ground. Then we get to a part where like the engineer, he's like Clark is laying down and starts to float up and takes the engineer's body and then spins
yeah,
and then
yes.
throws her
Oh
body, like uses
man,
her body to
that was
catch the laser. I'm
crazy.
like, what are we watching? One Piece? What is
This
this?
is
I don't even watch One
amazing.
Piece. I'm
That's
like, this
amazing.
is what I want to see. Like it felt like it was one of those weird moments where like I'm looking at real life, but I'm looking at something that feels very realistic, but looks like it's straight out of an animation, like a cartoon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because like his body, my animation brain's clicking because I'm like, they just smear framed. They just did a whole smear frame with Clark. His whole body's curved and doesn't make sense. And somebody's gonna be annoying to be like, this doesn't make sense. They're gonna freeze on that one frame. I'm like, but
yeah,
no, it's a part of a whole scene, a frame where we're gonna watch him like totally use another person just like a shield. But it was like that whole fight scene was just wild. I'm like, this is good.
yeah.
This they fight. And the engineer, she was fighting. She was
Yeah.
What did y'all think of the engineer as a character?
She was cool. I would have preferred her to be more silver than black, so she could be closer to the nanite metahuman that we see in the comics. But other
yeah.
than that, I didn't mind. Her hair was like weird. It looked like it was dreads at one point, and it was like backwards
Braids.
spikes on the helmet. She was interesting. The design for her was interesting. I didn't mind her acting. I liked her in the scene when she came and started wreaking havoc at the Fortress of Solitude. That was dope. She did her thing. The attempting to suffocate him with the nanites was an interesting
Oh,
fact. When it just started going, it was kind of nasty. It was going into his eyeballs and everything.
Yeah,
yeah.
it
Hem
was
him up. There
trippy.
was some interesting things done, I think, done there.
She
Yeah,
was so it's funny, we talk about redeemable characters. I would actually want to see the engineer come back. We found out she didn't die, of course, after Clark did that amazing nosedive and knocked her out. I don't know. She felt redeemable because, like, I don't know. She at points in the movie feels like she's kind of questioning, like, even Lex's ability to go so far to do certain things,
Yeah.
and I think that and like she had a lot of power. So she was really cool, but I think that she just felt like somebody was kind of like, all right, she felt like she was like a higher up henchman that was doing the job, but she still had some like humanity and autonomy. So I would like for her to get some redemption and be brought back because she was cool. She could do some really cool things, like her making those discs. She made the cannon that shot Clark in the back. Like she
yeah,
was cool. So it's like it'd be nice if she's like, all right. Justice Gang, y'all got me away from Lex Luthor's crutches, grip, grasp, and maybe I want to be a better person.
yeah.
Yeah, she has a group later on. I don't know if they're going to do it, but the
Weren't they
Authority is
supposed to? Yeah.
there's a group called the Authority that she becomes a part of later in the comics. I don't know if they're going to do that.
I thought James Gunn was making that. I thought that was still happening, but guess not.
Okay, that'll
Uh,
be dope.
so I didn't realize that she was an existing comic book character, but I felt
Mhm.
like her at least to me, her role in this movie kind of symbolized like the role of AI in like today's society.
Mm-hmm.
Um, like I felt like her presence in how she showed up in this movie was like a good allegory for the over reliance of AI and how it swallows up humanity to serve, to try and be more effective to
Mhm.
one thing, but it's not the best. It's still not going to get you where you want to go.
What did y'all think of
Agree.
Steve Teschmacher? You probably don't know what I'm referring. Miss Teschmacher was a character, obviously, in the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, and I think Gene Hackman played Lex Luthor. But
Mm-hmm.
his sort of girlfriend / love
Yeah,
interest in that, that's the way he used to call her, Miss Teschmacher, when he wanted
that's funny.
something. And we see another rendition of her here, but she's playing the ditzy blonde. I think she's playing it for a role. She's taking all the selfies and ends up kind of being the one that crumbles Lex's facade of an empire and has all the evidence through these very too strategic to be happenstance selfies throughout all of
Uh,
the openings. She's
Oh
got
yeah.
maps.
she was one of now all heroes wear capes, y'all.
Yep.
Yeah.
She was an influencer that was actually helpful. I'm like, yay! I'm like, cool. I like that as a woman character. She kind of exploited those assumptions people made of her. And then they found it was working to the story well, where she actually serves as a catalyst and kind of helps along the plot and story, the resolution of it. I thought that was
Yeah.
really cool. And
Mutant goes for the
Jimmy
win.
kept playing with her. I was like, come on, Jimmy.
Yeah,
Come
mutant
on,
goes for the
Jimmy.
win, man.
I'm like, come on, Jimmy, you don't gotta keep doing this to her. You messed up. Like, that's messed up. I'm like, stop stringing her along, bro. I'm like, oh man.
He's traumatized. Get a
He
good
is.
break.
I gotta get out of her mutant
That
toes.
was
I'm like, dang.
traumatizing.
Well, cause she what like when she made that call or no, when they met up in that alley, she explained to him. She was like, I I can't leave him. Like he made a point to let me know what happens to his ex girlfriends.
Oh
Like
yeah.
they get
Uh-huh.
put in that prison
Yep.
in the
Oh
pocket
yeah.
dimension. And she's like, she's the baby is traumatized.
Huh?
Yeah.
She's like, I can't get out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
And so
Yep.
I can understand her being like, so after this we'll hang out this weekend and then also together forever, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy's like silence. Jimmy
So,
met with silence.
so overall, I think this was a good starting point. I hope that it gains the momentum it needs for them to continue building off of this, and we get more, and that we get expansions on certain characters. We didn't get to see much. I think you mentioned you weren't too thrilled with Hawk Girl, acted by Isabella Merced.
She was
Um,
okay.
she's okay. I think we're going to get
She's
more of
fine.
her in
Yeah.
Peacemaker season 2. As I think I've seen a trailer where there basically seems like they're auditioning Peacemaker to be a part of the Justice Gang. If they even the Halls of Justice we get to see in this film,
Yep.
close to the animated version that we see. The shape, I think it's a building in Cleveland that it's modeled after, the actual place. Um, so yeah, what's the overall rating? What we giving this?
I'd say a 10. I love this. I thought it was great. It was a lot of fun.
Hmm.
I don't really have that many complaints, you
Okay,
know.
9.5.
nine,
9.5.
9.5. I
Nine.
gotta give it an
I'm
8.
going 9.5.
Yeah, I give it an 8. It was enjoyable. I like the action. Basically, all of my cons can be chalked up to nitpicks. But overall, I did enjoy the film. I enjoyed a vast majority of everybody's performances. Mr. Terrific, I think, was one of my highlights of the film. I like what Nathan Fillion did. We didn't even talk about it, but Kara, uh,
Oh
She
yeah.
Supergirl,
Oh my
showed up
comes
gosh.
at
in,
the end.
comes
I
Uh
was
in.
like, yo, she drunk and
yes.
Yeah,
partying. A
yeah,
drunk Kryptonian. She
Love
gonna
Supergirl,
bang
it.
and we
everybody.
get some people weren't happy that Crypto wasn't Superman's dog in this version. This is actually Kara's dog.
Who
So
And
cares?
so,
yeah, who cares
yeah,
about it?
He
Who
was with him the
cares?
whole movie.
That's
yeah,
that.
Like
That's your cousin. That's your dog
yeah,
too. Like the
yeah,
dog was left in your care. What are we even talking about here?
yeah.
also one thing I want to talk about just really quick. It was crazy how Metamorpho, he made a star. He
A
was like, I
son,
can't.
yeah.
Oh yeah, that
He
was
was like,
fire.
I
That
can't
was
quite make
fire.
a. He was like, I can't quite make a sun, but I can do something similar. And I was
Did
like,
he
so you made
simulate
a.
the Big Bang?
And he
Uh,
was calling out elements and adding them as he was
yeah,
calling
I
them
was
out.
like,
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
you
was
made
dope.
you made a star.
he made
That's
something star.
insane. Like a star, the sun is essentially a big fat star,
Yeah.
and so I was like, you made a star in your hands.
It
I
was
What do you
laughed
dope.
when my
mean?
boy when he's changed his hand from being kryptonite and looked at Soups and was like, I
Oh,
stopped. Why are you still gross?
Yeah, that was funny.
Coming from a dude who looked like
Why
he
are you
got
so
half his
gross?
body in amethyst and the other this is rock formations on the other side. It's like, dude, you gross
Why
yourself.
are
You
you
calling me
gross?
gross.
That's funny.
did
You're
you
right.
just
That
call him
was
a
funny.
colored Negro?
Yeah. What did you say?
I said, did you just call him a colored Negro?
No, I said gross. He called me gross.
But
No,
that's
you.
his
But after
voice.
that, what did you
No.
say? Okay, I'm sorry.
No.
Oh, that's on record, everybody. Multicolored Negro. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Do we,
It's a multicolored Negro. Okay, sorry.
do we last question. Do we think Ultraman comes back as Bizarro after being
Yes,
thrown into
it
the
has
black
to
hole?
happen. He has to come back ashy.
I don't know
Ashley?
enough lore to answer that question, so I would take your word for it.
Okay.
He has to come back.
Come back, but he's got to be messed up.
Yeah, he gotta have like Frankenstein face and look like he has dead
The backwards
skin.
S
Yeah,
instead of
the
the
S
U.
got to be. That'd be hilarious. The S got backwards.
He's
Hey,
Superman.
we don't know where black hole goes, so it's actually funny because like he could, if he were to like come out the end of a black hole, it's this other version that would work perfectly. So,
That would
and
be
it would
hilarious.
be cool if he gets his autonomy or gets some sentience because him being basically an organic robot was like limiting. I
Yeah.
also had a theory or a thought problem, an idea. So I was kind of annoyed with the whole. So I liked the gamification in the beginning of the film, but I think when we got to like the end of the story where he's like yelling 1A, just like punching him, I was like, all right, Lex, I
I
need you to
also
shut
thought it
up. I need
was.
to stop talking, Lex. Shut up, Lex.
I also thought it was so weird. Like the dudes on the control panel they were like just as hype about
Yeah,
beating Superman. I was like, what is this?
it's a
Like,
They were
cult.
sycophants.
It was a cult.
yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it just, I mean, yeah, I think that fandom was weird to me. I mean, it made sense, because if you're going to be a fan of Lex Luthor, it's very cult-like. This similarly to how the MAGA people act, but
Mhm.
you know, it still it made me feel the same way. Like, I was like,
Yeah.
you guys are weird.
Shout out to everybody in the film. Like I said, there wasn't too much to complain about. I do have minor nitpicks over story and stylistics, but it was overall enjoyable. Even William Reeve, Christopher Reeve's son, was in it as
Yep.
a TV reporter. That was dope.
That's cool.
Like I said, man, you just got to get on the team, man. We gotta find James Gunn and call him up and say, hey, man, what's happening?
I'm telling you, we just got to be nearby, be charming to some people like who are near, like just be by the fence a little bit,
Yeah.
just hang out, start talking to people, make
Y'all know
conversation.
what's next? What's the next? Is the Supergirl the next thing coming out from them?
I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
have no clue. Besides Peacemaker, we talking about films, right? Like
Yeah,
DC films.
Peacemaker's the next thing.
But yeah, that's what I thought was the next thing. But when it
Okay.
comes to the films, I have
The
no.
trailer came out for that. The new
Green
trailer.
Lantern TV show
Yeah.
with Aaron Pierre.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's the movie. It's not a show.
What
Wait,
is?
it's gonna be a movie?
I thought it was a movie.
I don't know what's going on.
Let me see. Hold on. I thought it was a movie.
Are you talking about on HBO on Max?
Yeah, on Max.
Yeah, I thought
Oh,
it
it's a
was.
Lantern.
series. Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't. I thought
Lantern.
it was a movie. I was wrong.
Yeah, Lanterns, and
Yeah, I
it's
think
gonna
it's
be a
gonna
buddy
be
cop
it's gonna be
story.
space cops basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
Monique PW says last word. Imagine if Lex Luthor used his knowledge and wealth for good. He could end world hunger. He could solve climate change. He could cure cancer. How much money and time did he spend on this revenge hobby? This is so real
Exactly.
world. Very true.
Exactly.
And in the
Exactly.
comics, I think before that was actually done. He was basically he cured cancer and then was bored and went back to being evil. They had that done before, but that's a very good point.
Mhm.
And it is kind of poignant that that's basically what the ultra rich now could do so, but spend time doing
They
other
never
things. So
do.
that's a reflection. And some folks don't like that because they say they don't want to see real life in fiction, but it's going to happen because art is usually a reflection of life. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you. But
Also, I feel like that's how a lot of movies get made is like, when you're pitching stuff, a question that is asked is like, why now? Like, what about this film? And a lot of it is because,
what's
it's,
going on at that
yeah,
time? Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. So,
yeah. Well, thank you all once again for taking the time out of your day to chop it up with me about these things. We've got two folks, Monica PW and another a lurker who I don't know who your name is, but I see the little eyeball signifying that someone else is watching. I appreciate you
you.
taking the time out of your day to watch us chop it up about these things. We will be uploading this video to Spotify later this week. And as I stated before, in the description of the episode, there will be links to all of our websites if you are curious about our creative endeavors. Until next time, we will talk to you next week. Peace.
See y'all.